What up, Canine fam? We are talking about conditioning for your dogs, for your canines, and the different options that you have available, and not only what the options are, but what those actual exercises do and what they promote. And we're going to put some visuals up here as well. There's an awesome visual that I pulled from the internet, and it breaks down all the exercises and shares what body parts that you're going to be working. So when we're talking hike or extended walk, what's that going to really work? It's going to work the hips, the legs, right? The back legs, the chest, the shoulders, a little bit of the base of the neck, because if you're hiking, you're going to go up and down hills, you're going to have different terrains, so you're going to be working the shoulders, the chest, the base of the neck, the hips, and the lower legs. And when you're talking spring pole, if you don't know what a spring pole is, it's a tug that's hung from a pole with a spring on it, or hung from a tree. They grab it and they hook onto it, and you want to try and keep their two back legs on the ground. So now they're going to work their hips, their lower legs, a little bit of their mid torso, because they're going to be moving, shaking pretty much their whole neck, from the base of their neck to the top of their head, and their jaws, right? So they're going to be working from their jaws all the way down to their hips to their back of their legs, and the conditioning for the cardio as well. Next is going to be the flirt pole. So if you're not familiar with that, the flirt pole, you have a pole, you have a rope at the end, and then you have something they're going to chase. When you have a flirt pole conditioning for a dog that has high prey drive, that's going to constantly chase it, like my guy Vitor, the conditioning, I'm talking 10 minutes, is like an hour and a half run almost. The conditioning is absolutely wild. But when they're really going after it, think about this: their whole body is engaged, from their neck to their shoulders, to their chest, to their core, to their back of their legs, to their hips, because they're constantly switching movements, they're constantly moving, they're constantly running after it, especially with high drive, high prey drive dogs like the one I have. Now, if you don't have a high prey drive dog, that probably isn't the exercise for you, but that overall conditioning. Next is going to be running, right? Just straight out running. Again, lower neck, that ties into the shoulder area, the chest, the whole shoulder girdle, along with the lower legs and the hips and the overall conditioning. Just, I would caution doing a lot of running on pavement and concrete, things like that, that's really beating up the joints and the ligaments. So you want more of if you can get dirt road, if you can get grass, mulch, things like that would be a much better option. Swimming, probably the number one overall conditioning exercise if you have access to water, because especially if they can come up to their neck, because you are working everything from the neck down, and then the cardio conditioning is second to none. And I also believe that unless it's a retriever that's really built for water, most dogs are going to be a little tentative at first. So on the mental side, it's going to help them break through fear barriers for most dogs, that unless it's naturally there. But again, that's going to build a confidence, just like humans. When you can break through those fear barriers, on the other end of that is confidence. So now you have a fully conditioned dog with confidence. Who doesn't want that? And last but not least, weight pulling, right? But the key to this is steady, slow movements. So when you get the right weight pull harness with the bar behind it and crossover, then you hook up. I use toe chains, I use tires, things that aren't going to get caught up, because I'm going to be doing laps, I'm going to be doing conditioning, right, for the weight pull. But overall conditioning, strength, size, everything's involved, from the neck to the back of the shoulders, the front of the shoulders, the side of the shoulders, the core, digging in, down to the hips, down to the back of the legs, everything, man. They're just digging in. I love weight pull laps. Just pay attention and don't do jerky movements. Don't do a lot of side to side. You just want steady. The weight pull conditioning, when you're doing laps or you're doing up and back, is really kind of like the deadlift for the human. overall, from your traps all the way down to your feet, overall conditioning. So when you're deadlifting, you're not going to jerk it. You're not going to do it really quick. You're going to be steady up and down. So when you put them in that weight pull harness, and here's a pointer too, if they're not comfortable with it, don't add weight. Just start walking them with that. Get them used to it. Even if it's a day, 2 days, a week, 2 weeks, let them get very comfortable in that weight pull harness, because there's going to be a bar behind them, right? So they're going to feel like something's chasing them or following them or something. So if they freak out, that's okay. Just walk them through it. Don't put weight on, and start with very light weight until they really get comfortable so they don't hurt themselves. But once you get them dialed in, honestly, weight pull laps are absolutely phenomenal, and you can almost do them anywhere, right? Even if you travel, you could find a piece of grass somewhere that you could do some laps, and it's absolutely phenomenal. And with that is the parachute. Now, if you've ever seen it, again, you got to work them through their fear barriers on a lot of dogs, but once you could do that, the parachute, they're like sprinting with the parachute behind them. Phenomenal, because you're not going to be able to go far. Talk about overall conditioning. That's kind of like the Flirt Pole in a way. You know, it doesn't take many reps to get them exhausted, to get them. Now, again, when you tie in the nutrition with the rest and recovery, with the things I'm sharing with you, lights out, man, game over. Awesome. With, the bottom line, consistency, right? The lifestyle. So pick a few of those, pick one of those, whatever's conducive for your dog, for the breed, for the age of your dog, and for the goals. I have 11-month-old Performance Pit Bull right now. He's pure athlete, 1000% pure athlete, and 100% drive. So I have to make sure whatever conditioning I do with him, it's controlled, especially at this age, right? So he's not hurting himself. But if you have a lower key dog, right, you get them used to a weight pull harness, and you put a little bit of weight on there, do some laps, phenomenal. Swimming for them, phenomenal if you can get them comfortable with it. Walking, brisk walking, up and down hills, overall conditioning. What I'm not a fan of, and I learned this the hard way with my boy Wyatt, a weighted collar. I just think you're putting everything out of alignment. You're putting more stress over here without the foundation to support it. The risk reward, I learned the hard way, not worth it. I'm not a fan. But anyway, guys, hopefully that helped. We're going to put some visuals up there for you. And as always, I'm not hard to find. Like, comment, share, hit me up. Love to chat it up. Love to chop it up about dogs, nutrition, conditioning, and just dogs in general. So Canine Super Supplements, you're going to leave with more information you came in with, whether you like it or not. Canine Super Supplements coming to a town near you. Stay tuned.